Well, hello everyone and happy Wednesday. We are here to share some more makes with you. I have a mix of things. I have a little bit of sewing and I have a little bit more of crochet. So what I did, I was all excited because I got my stuff in to try and make my bag. And I had picked up some jeans from the thrift store for $1 a pair. I get it all cut out and my sewing machine just can't handle the thickness of the denim. So I was pretty bummed. But the stuff did not go to waste. Don't fret about that. It did not go to waste. Except for my time. You don't know till you try, right? So after Friday's market on Saturday, I kind of made a deal with myself. If I want to be able to play and sew, I need to make at least one bigger item in crochet or 3 smaller items so that I don't fall behind because I'm distracted with wanting to play with the sewing. So that's how I tried to do it this week. Now, I kind of cheated a little bit. Saturday, I made my stuff that would be technically for Sunday because I figure Sunday was Mother's Day, so I could like treat myself and just do whatever I wanted anyways. But I didn't want to fall behind. Now, I don't have a market this Friday. Yay, I get a week off. So we will have our Friday night live, and hopefully that'll be fun because we've had 2 weeks, so we should have plenty of stuff to talk about. But so I started playing with some sewing, and I have like 4 veils in front of me. Well, it turns out, double check your printer settings if you're printing out a pattern and make sure it is set print to actual size. And I thought mine was because, you know, I printed all this stuff for my button shop and all that I still haven't opened back up, and I probably won't open back up. But it always was set to actual size. But the print was different. Like, I wasn't going through my editing program to print. I was just telling a file to print. Well, it was only printing at 90%. So pieces didn't match. I'm like, did this person like not write the file right? I mean, what's the deal? And I didn't realize it till yesterday what the problem was. I was going to make these little keychain type wallets, and instead of laying a pattern piece on the fabric, it says it's 4x7. So I just cut strips 4 inches wide and then 7 inches, and then lined up the pattern piece to get these side edges here. And I'm like, the paper's shorter. Why is this coming out longer? It says 4x7, and then I measure it, it's off by like a 1/2 inch in length. It was 4 inches wide, but it was not as tall as it was supposed to be. So all of these little things that I had cut out, which it was too late when I realized it, were all the wrong size. So this one is a fail because it's the wrong size. And also, when I went to close my turning hole, I didn't catch the edge of the fabric. So, yeah. And that one was a pretty one. I like the plaid lining and the nice pretty little blue snap that matched it so well. And yeah, kind of a bummer. So it's smaller than it's supposed to be. and I didn't catch the edge of that fabric. And when I tried it a second time, I was like, well, let me try quilting part of it, you know, give it that quilted look, not thinking that it's going to shrink. And so it shrunk and came out even smaller than it was supposed to the first time. So that's 2 fails. Then I tried doing this zipper pouch. Now, mind you, I have never done zippers in my life. And I'm watching tons of tutorials on it. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand the ends of it. How to not make it look caved in. Like, it doesn't line up. Well, this was another one of those. Like, this won't close all the way because it's the bulkiness here. So I did something wrong. But this was also one of those where the pieces didn't line up. And so they didn't print the right size. So I'm sure it had something to do with that. So I will try it again. I think the zipper pouches are kind of cool. Again, this was a pretty fabric. And, you know, I've wasted my pretty stuff. So, yeah. I just wish I would have noticed sooner. Try to poke that out a little more. I wish I would have noticed sooner that it wasn't printing the right size. Would have saved myself a lot of time and grief. Yeah, that's still not going to close all the way. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong with the zippers. I need a friend that lives local that knows how to sew and do stuff like zippers and buttonholes, because I have avoided that all my life with what sewing that I have done with my life. So, I don't know. I mean, I can use this, but it definitely isn't a sellable item because I messed it up. And then there was this other one, since I had bought the jeans and the fusible fleece and all that. This is supposed to be, and I didn't finish. What is this? I don't remember what this part was for. Oh, it's the snap. Okay, so this is supposed to be like a cell phone type crossbody bag / purse / whatever. But again, this was one of those that the pattern piece didn't print it at the right size. And if the bulkiness of the jeans, it just wasn't working well for me. But I think I did a little better with the zipper on this one. So it was kind of like practice. So this will get cut apart and I'll retrieve my hardware. I don't know that the zipper is going to do me any good. But yeah. So I didn't complete this one. Now it did say that the pattern was designed to use like quilter's cotton. But I wanted to use the denim really, really bad. So I tried and did not succeed. So that was another fail. So I had a few failed projects. And then there was another one, but not because I sewed it wrong. It's because my iron ruined it. I was like so upset. I was like, what the heck is all over this? And I'm not sure where it's at. I think maybe Jenna kept it. I don't know where it's at. But I sent her a text. I think it was Friday. Thursday or Friday. I can't remember. Because she kept asking me, what do you want for Mother's Day? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. So I sent her a text and I told her, you keep asking me what I want for Mother's Day. If you haven't gone shopping yet, I would like a new iron. because my iron messed up my project. And I mean, the iron's like probably 30 years old. It's time for a new one anyways. So she got me an iron for Mother's Day. So that was nice. So then I'm like, I need to try this again because I want to make these, if not for nothing else, for myself. So I was watching this video, and they have these book sleeves, iPad sleeves, whatever. And I wanted to try it. So this one, I didn't have to print out anything. They gave you the measurements. And it's such cute fabric. I have a couple of yards of this. I bought it, gosh, back in 2020. But it's kind of like what you would make kids' pajamas out of. It's, you know, has that feel to it. And then some regular, like, white cotton. So I'm following this pattern, and this is supposed to fit an iPad. So I go to put my iPad in it. I can get it in there, but it's like super tight. But my iPad is in like a case, and I thought, okay, well, maybe the case is just too wide. So, I mean, it'll fit without the case on it, because I pulled it out of the case, and there's plenty of room with it without it being in the case that it's in. But I want that protective case on my iPad. So I was like, all right, if I add a 1/2 inch, that should be enough. Not thinking that a 1/2 inch is going to end up being an inch, because you're putting a 1/2 inch on both front and back, and when you sew it together, you've got a full inch. So this one I did a little bit different. I used the cat fabric for the pocket instead of the plain white, and used the white as the liner. Now, the tutorial that I watched, I'll link it in. The lady was like really good at showing what to do. But she used an elastic. I decided to have a tab on it. Like she used a hair tie or something. And so this, my iPad fits in it, and there's more than enough room. So if I would have just went up 1/4 inch to give myself the 1/2 inch, it would have been better. But I think it's really cute. I love this fabric. But I'm a cat lover, so I have those two. See the size difference by adding a 1/2 inch? I went a 1/2 inch taller and a 1/2 inch wider. And yeah, so that gave me plenty of room for my iPad. So technically these are supposed to be book sleeves, but your devices will fit in them as well. So then I'm looking through my fabrics that I had. I had purchased back in 2020, you know, because we're all stuck at home, and I was playing with sewing. I actually made my first quilt ever in 2020. So I had a not a huge selection, but I have a selection of stuff. So I had bought these panel sheets, and each one of the squares on the panel is like 6 1/4. Just a little bit too small for the smallest size one of these sleeves. So I had to add like 1/8 inch to each side to try and keep it centered. But it's also was taller than it should be. But it doesn't look bad. So, which one was the first one? This one. So I did this one first. And this is the pocket. The pocket probably should have come down to about here. But look at that chicken. Is she some sassy, spicy stuff? But I was determined to use my denim. So one side of this is denim, just the back side, which technically is the front, but the pocket is so cool that we made this whole thing the front. Like, this button should be on the back side for the closure, but the pocket's cool. That needs to be the star of the show. So this one I did do the elastic like they said, just put it on the opposite side, and it has black fabric to go with it. Well, I only had a little bit of black, but Jenna came to the rescue. She had some black, and she gave me what she had left of a yard of fabric. And I have to get myself some black because I've now used it all. So this panel has, I want to say, 18 chickens on it. Well, I thought that was so cool. I was like, I got to make some more. So we have this one, denim on the back, and I found my black elastic. So that's just regular, like 1/4 inch elastic. It's not a hair tie. And again, I put the button on the front, or on the pocket side instead of that side, because I just think that's where it should be. This should be the star of the show. And then there's this one. I like this one. The colors are like, they just speak to me. But this one has a snap. So I did 3 of them with snaps, and then I decided not to because the snaps were kind of interfering with the chicken. Like, this is like right in her eye. And then I was like, what's the point of the snap? If you have your device in there, you're going to push down on it to get your snap to close. Like, now I can't get it to close. Anyways, I decided, like on this one, I did not use a snap. I like it better without the snap. I don't think it's necessary. So I have that one. And these hold 3 different size Kindles. Paper white. And there's 2 other ones. I can't remember the names of them. But these will hold 3 different sizes of the Kindle, plus, you know, a small, like, mass market paperback if you are like me and like to actually feel the paper and turn the page when you read. This one was the last one that got the snap in it. And she's like, she's a sassy mama too. She's pretty cool. And again, the denim on the back. And then I did one more and decided to move on from this size because we have to crochet. It took me, part of the problem is I don't have space and it's hard to cut because I don't have enough room. So I'm like, do I need to go out and unload my car just to get a 6-foot table so I can cut my fabric? So I bought these plastic sleeves to put them in. So I have those to put them in. And then, you know, I went and I worked on some crochet. So yesterday I got my things made with crochet, and I said, let me do the next size up. And this one will hold one size of the Kindle, but it will hold a bigger type paperback. So I did this one, and I did not put the snap on the pocket, but I did add the little trim piece because I just felt like it needed some separation because I used the same type fabric for the whole outer part and then a darker burgundy for the inner part. So This is the medium size, and I'll have to look it up again. I know it won't fit a scribe. It might fit small tablets. I can't remember. And then I made one more because my other stuff everything was cut the wrong size because I didn't print it properly. So we have this one. And I just happened to have this brown fabric on hand. I was like, this I bought as a fat quarter from Hobby Lobby, not thinking I need a coordinating fabric with it. It was just one of the single fat quarters. And luckily I had this brown, and I'm like, that is such a pretty, like, what do they call that? Batiking or something. But yeah, so we did this one. This, I also ordered sleeves for that size and the one that's supposed to hold the iPad. But they weren't the self-sealing plastic cello bags, so I need to return those and order different ones because it was not what I wanted. I ordered them all from the same Amazon seller at the same time, and so I was a little confused when it came in, and some were self-adhesive and some were not. The others, two bigger sizes, had the twist ties. I'm like, that's not what I want. So those go back, and I have new ones on order. Okay, so what did I crochet? I know that's what you guys are here for. I'm sorry I bored you with my book sleeves and my couple of flop projects, but well, what can I say? I'm having fun. So, first thing that I made this week was a few car swings. Now, these are smalls, so I could do 3, and then I could be done. So I did these like Saturday night. I went ahead and made the car swings. These are all from Jade, her mallard, and her penguin. And then the yellow bird, I just, instead of doing color changes, I just do it all yellow, and I get the yellow duck, chick, whatever. So, yep, we got these. So those were done, and I need some more of these, so I got to mix it up. Have to mix it up. So I did the small items of the swings, and I was like, okay, I need mini birds, so let's just move on to mini birds since I'm in the bird making mood. So I did 2 yellow, and then 2 with the mystical yellow sunshine. But this almost looks brown when you have it next to the chenille brights, and they are very, very close in size, but you can definitely feel a difference. Like, this is so soft compared to this, and this is soft, but this is so soft. So I had sold out of my yellow mini birds, so we have 4, just 2 different shades of yellow. And I was like, okay, it's time for something big. So now I haven't done this one in a long time. And this time I did the sitting version instead of the standing. But since Lilo and Stitch is coming out, I think it's the 23rd, I just had to make a scrump. And I did her sitting. And this is the chenille brights in mint, poppy red for the collar. Oh gosh, I forget the shade of pink. Do they call it hibiscus? I don't know. And this is the banana yellow for the hair. So I was able to use my little die cuts and cut out circles in the felt. Then I had to use a single hole punch to punch holes to make it look like a button. And then I had to use embroidery floss to like get an X on those parts. So there was a little bit more involved than I wanted it to be. But I really like the sitting version. I like the standing one, but I like the sitting one because it's not going to fall over. It sits just fine. Just fine. So, this is Crochet Grove's pattern. And for the longest time, the only way you could get it was to ask somebody who already had it. She had given permission for people to share the patterns with others. But now, you can go on Ravelry and type in Crochet Grove, all one word. Do not put a space in between it or you won't find it. And all her, I think it's 5. You got the blue alien, the pink alien, you have Lilo, you have Big Scrump, and a mini Scrump. Yes, there are 5 patterns that are free on Ravelry. But just type in Crochet Grove, all one word. So then I had Rebecca from Beck Made Studio. She messaged me on Instagram and said, she came out with a new pattern pack. Would I be interested in trying some? And I was like, sure, I'm game. So she sent me 2. You can buy them individual or in a package. She sent me 2, and I made one, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so cute and very easy. It's no sew. That's nice. Now, I did tack the tail up. She doesn't tell you to do that in the pattern, but I did that on my own. Now, this one I kind of messed up a little bit, but you wouldn't know that unless I told you. His eyes are up 1 row too high because I can't count. So I made another one. Now his eyes are in the right spot. So these are bobble stitches. So you don't have to sew on any, red cheeks. These are crocheted in. The tail is crocheted in. Depending on how fast you crochet, I would say you could get this done in 30 minutes or less. I mean, even though you're making the ears separate and the tail separate, they're very quick. So I have 2 Pikachus. And I want to say that these are like a $10 to $12 size. I don't know. That's just my opinion. And it's out of the chenille brights in the lemon yellow, black, and poppy, and then caramel. So we did those. Well, I thought those were just the cutest thing. Now, she had sent me another one, but I didn't do that one yet. So I went over to her Etsy shop to check it out. And like I said, you can buy them individual, or she has them in packages of 7 or 8. And everything's like 35% off right now. So I just picked out a few that I liked. And I did not get to make them all yet because, you know what? I am just not that fast. But I did make a couple of them. So there's a Charmander. Now, she doesn't put the face on it. I just tried to do a face. I don't know if I'm going to leave that on there, if I'm going to take it off and just leave it with just eyeballs. This part back here is supposed to be red fur, but I did not have red fur, so I did the steps that she says to do just using regular poppy in the chenille brights. But again, it is no sew. And Pikachu looks so much bigger because he has those tall ears. But still, I think these could be a $10 to $12 size. And then I got Eevee. Again, it is no sew. Now you could, of course, tack the tail up. I didn't do that on this one. I might end up doing it. You go back and surface crochet to get the fur around there. Ears are crocheted in. Piece of cake. Well, one of the other ones that I got, I messed this one up. I almost don't want to show you, but I showed you my mess up in my sewing, so I might as well show you this. I messed around on his head, so he looks a little funny. This is Psyduck, and This looks extremely big for two reasons. One, I missed around on his head, so it looks a little big for its face. But two, the steel cut oats was so much thicker than the yellow, it made a big difference. So I'll have to switch to sand probably when I go to make another one. Because, you know, he's missing around a head. A round on his head. But the Psyduck. And then there was another one that I bought, but I didn't get to make it yet. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I think I bought 5 of them. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so there's 2 more that I haven't done yet. I think it was 5. I don't know. So we did have all those littles, and I was like, okay, it's time for something big again because, you know, we don't want to fall behind. And because I did scrump, it just had me kind of in that mood for kind of creepy, cutesy type stuff. So I pulled out Madeline Mako's Jack pattern. And last time I made him, I did it out of Parfait Chunky, and it was kind of small. This is with the Chenille Brights, and this is a nice size. I think he turned out so good, and I still was able to use the acrylic to do the tie. It's kind of hard to see, but I think that's supposed to look like a spider or something. I don't know. I never watched the show, believe it or not. But yeah, so we did this, and the only way you can get this pattern from Madeline Mako is if you are a Patreon member. And I was, but then when I had all my my bank card get hacked, that's one of the things that I missed updating the to the new card type thing. So it booted me out of being a member. Anyhow, so we have Jack. And then I was looking at Sally, and I'm like, oh, do I want to do all those color changes? And I just like moved on to something else. And then the last thing that I was able to make is, I would say, medium-sized. And this one is from a free pattern on Instagram. Of course, I will, if I remember. If I don't, somebody will remind me. It's a free pattern off of Instagram. And it's the clownfish. And I don't know. It's just such happy colors. It's like so cheerful to make one of these. And it's so easy. Even with the color changes. Because I don't have to cut and tie. I can carry the colors up on the inside. And still have room to work, and he comes out just as cute as can be. I made 2 of these before, and they sold. Sold one at the first market, sold one at the second market, and now I've had 2 markets without them, so it's time to bring back another one. So I have to keep things looking fresh, because if I'm going to keep going back and be a regular at a market, every time I go, I'm going to have something different. I can't just always go with the same old, because I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of the same people over and over again. But that's okay, because I like doing new patterns. And I have so many of them that I haven't made in a while that I can go back and revisit, and it'll be just like brand new to everybody. Because, you know, it's not your typical mini bird on a swing or these mini birds. You know, it's not the this basic smalls, I guess you would call it. So that is what I have. It's like, what is on my foot? This is what I have. I think I did fairly decent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not too sure about the larger ones on these, because the one is not the right size. Well, neither one of them's the right size, because one's too big, one's too small. But it would work in if they don't have a case on it. But I don't know. I can't imagine anybody paying that much money for an iPad and not putting a protective case on it. So anyhow, so I have those. Now that I know that I messed up the printing on the other things so that I can get the shapes right, I'll try those again and see what happens. I don't know. But I would like to have a few different types of sewing things, and not all the, like, yes, I'm going to have some of the wristlet keychains, but I don't want it to be all that. Yes, I'll probably have some lanyards, but I don't want it to be all that. You know, I want a little bit of a variety, but not too much of a variety that it takes up a whole table, if you know what I mean. So, anyhow, I'm going to go. And I'll see you Friday night at 7.